A lot of struggling college students that I work with have dealt with imposter syndrome and don't know how to understand or overcome it. Imposter syndrome is related to the fear of failure, a primal fear that we can trace back to our reptilian brain, where failing meant death and it needed to be avoided at all costs. We are primed to predict potential failures and pick up on any little signal that could mean we are failing and then react accordingly. I guess this strategy was helpful for us to evolve as a species. However, we need to learn how to respond to this fear of failure and imposter syndrome differently to navigate today's world, and not just to survive, but to thrive. When safety is our subconscious's goal, but growth is our conscious goal, we have to stay keenly aware of the signals from within and how to respond and not react to them. I worked with a student named Skylar who was really struggling with this. He was constantly afraid that he was going to be discovered as a failure, that he didn't belong in his major, that he couldn't hack it, and that he was going to be called out in some way for this. He didn't realize he was having a battle between parts inside. The part that wanted him to stay safe and avoid risks, and the part that wanted him to grow and learn and thrive. He was in a constant state of conflict until he could really see what was happening. When the fear of failure and imposter syndrome was giving him messages like, "You aren't good enough and you don't belong here," he learned to recognize this as a signal from part of him that felt threatened, outside of his comfort zone, and was signaling him back to safe and small. He stopped taking those messages so literally, started doubting their absolute value as truth, and saw them for what they really were, a primal urge for safety. This stopped the downward spiral. When the fear of failure came up, he would notice it, respond with kindness towards himself, and not pile on more self-doubt. And he could carry on his conscious objective to keep growing and not stay safe and small, but keep expanding. He barely ever has signals from his fear of failure anymore and is truly thriving. If you are dealing with the fear of failure and imposter syndrome and need some help to make the change that Skylar did, check out the link in my bio for more information.